Ukraine President Zelensky. Now, Zelensky is currently in the United States visiting the White House, basically asking Biden for more money. Now, we know that all of the mayors of these sanctuary cities have also been asking Biden for a lot of money, but at the same time, Zelensky, Ukraine president, which this war, I believe, has been going on for like 2 years, I believe. That's a long time, a lot of money, but he showed himself over in Washington to meet with Biden. We know that Biden wouldn't meet with Eric Adams, wouldn't meet with Brandon Johnson, wouldn't meet with Mike Johnston, wouldn't meet with none of these LA mayor. I forgot what her name is, Kim Bass or something like that. But Ukraine president showed up and he said, listen, we need like 60 billion more dollars out here in these streets. Let me bring you up to date of what's happening.
Good morning, and this is Zelensky's third visit to Washington since the war began. There's a lot at stake here for him, about $60 billion. Ukrainian forces navigating the winter terrain as their leader will once again navigate the corridors of power here in Washington.
If there's anyone inspired by unresolved issues on Capitol Hill, it's just Putin and his sick clique.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke yesterday at the National Defense University in Washington. His next stop will be Capitol Hill to meet with congressional leaders. President Biden, who will once again sit down with Zelensky later in the day, hopes this pressure campaign on Congress will work. The White House says that despite what many see as a stalemate, Ukraine is advancing, but more U.S. funding is needed.
For Ukraine, this is absolutely vital. They've made remarkable progress over the last year in pushing back Russian aggression.
The $110 billion White House aid package includes money for Ukraine, Israel, and helping handle the unprecedented flood of immigrants now at the southern U.S. border.
We should stay here until we get it done.
Democrats and many Republicans back Ukraine, but the GOP will push for more border enforcement.
This is purely designed to apply pressure on Republicans to give up their fight on the border and write another blank check to Ukraine. I'm not doing it. I don't think Republicans should go for it at all.
So, essentially, this is what's happening. And before I break down the financials as it's presented to us, the general public, from a C student's perspective, this is basically what's happening. First of all, they're saying that Russia has basically suffered catastrophic damage and that 315,000, roughly 85% of its troops since February 2022. So this war has been going on for close to 2 years now because we're going into 2024. Since February 2022, since the invasion in Ukraine, they're saying that over the past 22 months, 315,000 troops and close to 500,000 Ukrainian troops have been killed. So we're approaching, as documented, the million mark of over 1 million people being killed as a result of this war. They said that Russia has lost 2,200 tanks. Of the 3,500, 1/3 of its armored vehicles is knocked out of action, and that they're starting to go back to Soviet-era stockpiles in order to continue this war, while Zelensky is over in Washington asking for an additional 60 billion, not million, billion dollars. Now, the political aspect of it from a financial perspective is Republicans are leveraging the fact that Ukraine, Israel, and all of these different things that we're funding outside of the United States, and they're saying, listen, if we can't even protect our own borders, why should we continue to give money over into Ukraine, Israel, and so on and so forth? If you refuse to commit money into making sure that we protect our borders, then why should we commit to funding whatever it is that you think makes the most sense when it comes to this Ukrainian war, right? Or Israel, or military aid, or whatever it is that you think, right? And so I think that there's a lot of different moving parts and a lot of different factors. Obviously, we know that there's a lot of underhanded things and special interests that's happening. Even, and one thing that they don't want to remember or they don't want to mention publicly, but we all know that it's happening, is a semiconductor chip war that they're also conducting over with China, basically trying to prevent China from controlling Taiwan, because Taiwan is basically outputting and producing over 85%, allegedly 85% of the world's semiconductor chips, while we ramp up here in the U.S. as far as the semiconductor chips with all of the Plants and the Chips Act that you guys voted for and basically allowed to happen inside of the United States as far as the Biden administration, right? So Republicans are saying, listen, we don't want to give you no money unless you commit to funding, closing off our borders. Biden is saying, listen, I'm not really meeting with New York. I don't want to kick it with Eric Adams. I don't want to kick it with Brandon Johnson over in Chicago because they the ones that said that they were sanctuary cities. And then they tried to throw me under the bus. But Zelensky came straight over to the White House and he was kicking it with Biden. And Biden wouldn't even show his face to Eric Adams. So Biden, he looked at New York and Eric Adams as a side chick. And he said, listen, you can't get no more money until you start putting out. And he looked at Zelensky as his new main chick. All right, that's the new main chick. Ukraine, Israel, those are the main chicks. Chicago, Arizona border, Texas, El Paso, New York, Denver, Atlanta. You guys are the old side chicks, but you have a chance to get back in his good graces. We just don't know how much you need to put out in order to be able to get there. All right, so that's the perspective of what's happening over in the White House is that, he got him over a barrel. It's about to be election season, and he's not going to let nothing impede his ability to be able to get into the White House again so that Kamala Harris can be our next vice president, potential president, if anything was to ever happen to Biden. God forbid. All right. So in addition to that, Kid Rock is back drinking Bud Light. Listen. I'm a fan of Kid Rock mainly because he represents Detroit, but you cannot trust any of these people. Kid Rock has decided to support Bud Light again 8 months after his response about activist Dylan Mulvaney teaming up with Anheuser-Busch to promote and brand Easy Carry contest. At the end of the day, he said, when you step back and look at it, they deserved a black eye, and they got one. They made a mistake, the singer shared in his recent interview with Tucker Carlson, which I wasn't able to, secure the footage for before we did this live stream, but this is a quote, right? He said, so do I want to hold their head underwater and drown them because they made a mistake? No, I think they got the message. He also added that hopefully other companies get it too, but at the end of the day, I don't think that the punishment that they've been getting at this point fits the crime. I would like to see us back on board and become bigger because that's the America that I want to live in. And then he concluded by noting that there's nothing wrong with giving a spanking, just don't spank them for the rest of their life. All right, so he's basically saying and posting and then publicly drinking Bud Light based off of the fact that he's saying that they learned their lesson, they needed a little bit of a spanking. I personally think that Bud Light cut the check. If Bud Light was smart, they didn't just wait for a Kid Rock. Come on, man, listen. Money talk, BS walks. At the end of the day, even this, can I see you in the chat? Wealth Building Journey says hashtag go woke, go broke. Check this out though. Money talks. And if you write enough checks, you'll get some of the people that were the most passionate against you in your corner. If you write enough checks and you support enough people, if you're expecting for me, Anton, that understands money, business, and marketing, and I know that money talks, BS walks. If you're expecting for me to believe that Bud Light or any of these other woke companies is not writing checks in order to get these influencers and tastemakers and entertainers that have a huge influence off their back, they just randomly showing up drinking a Bud Light in public. All of a sudden, they doing an interview talking about, well, they got they spanking. We need to go ahead and let them continue to do whatever it is that they want to do. Listen, the hashtag go woke, go broke is an opportunity for these people to continue to get to the bag. That's just my personal opinion. I don't have any evidence to substantiate it. I'm saying that if you ask me what I think is happening, I believe that Bud Light is quiet. They removed all of the noise. They got rid of the people that made things difficult for them. And then they started writing checks in order to make sure that they got back into the good graces of the people. That's what I believe. I'm sticking to it. And so that's that. And then in other news, last but not least, while we get to the quick hits, Andre Braugher, who was the star of Homicide: Life on the Street, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and many other films at 61 years old, has officially passed away. He has officially passed away. Let me bring y'all up to speed on that.
This morning, we are remembering actor Andre Braugher. The two-time Emmy Award-winning actor was best known for his roles in Homicide: Life on the Street and, of course, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And Lara, it was tough waking up to this news
Yes,
this
it
morning.
was. I agree, Robin. Good morning to you. Andre Braugher may be best known for playing stoic characters like Detective Frank Pembleton on Homicide, but he used that same dry delivery and he turned it into comic gold as Captain Raymond Holt on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. This morning, the actor is being remembered as a force, both on and off the screen.
I will attempt to cooperate with you under these new circumstances.
Don't sweet-talk me, Holt.
I gave it my best shot. Let's begin.
He was one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood, first hitting the big screen as a Union soldier in Glory, alongside Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, and Matthew Broderick.
I'd like to speak to you for a moment in private.
But it was the small screen where Andre Braugher truly shined for almost 35 years. The Emmy winner's breakout role came in the form of Detective Frank Pembleton on Homicide: Life on the Street.
This is my job. This is what the city of Baltimore pays me to do, to pin murder one on a girl in this situation.
Braugher brought the master of the confession to life in the 90s crime drama, quickly becoming a fan favorite and winning an Emmy for his role in 1998.
This is for all the people in Baltimore. This is a town that I love. We have finally made it. Thank you all.
So he passed away at 61, and his first film role, as emphasized over in the video that you just watched, was alongside Matthew Broderick and Denzel Washington in Glory. They said he died Monday after a brief illness. What I want to know is, how are these people passing away so early? How are these people passing away so early? That's what I want to know. Like, I think the thing that scares me the most, not even scare me because I don't really have any fear. The thing that I'm very mindful of, which is one of the reasons why I'm changing the way that I eat. I spend a lot more time in the gym, and I'm not doing it for other people, right? I'm doing it for me. So I'm sure you can see. No, I'm just playing. I'm sure you can see the little bit of a definition starting to come back or whatever like that. And you know what I'm saying? I have been dropping weight, but I'm not really talking about it. I'm just putting in the work, and I just grind and I hustle. And so I change the way that I eat. I'm spending more time in the gym. Hopefully, I'm influencing my family and other people that surround me to be more health conscious and focused. Because what's the point of working and having all of this accolades and the awards and the Emmys and the success and the money and all of this stuff if it doesn't translate into you being able to enjoy it later on, you know what I'm saying, throughout your life. And so, you know, when my time is up, my time is up. But at the same time, I want to live in the best possible conditions while I'm here. And so that's my biggest thing. I don't want to be here suffering. If I'm going to be here, and for a lot of these young people, y'all also need to know this too, is that, you know, the things that you do now, whether it be financial, whether it be health related, are the things that you're either going to pay for or benefit from as you get older. So rest in peace to him. Passed away at 61 years old. Great actor. A lot of these guys, it seems like, are passing before their time. Too many people die on a regular basis. And again, they say that he passed away from a brief illness. Rest in peace for him. God bless him and his family. Yeah, man, passed away. So shout out to him and shout out to his family. And that was your quick hits, ladies and gentlemen.